Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. In this episode, we will be finishing up our conversation with Mr. Chip Kohser from Elite Nutrition. I do want to kind of talk for just a second before we get going. I had a comment on, I think it was one of the YouTube videos, talking about breaking up episodes like this. I know it may be unpopular sometimes. I know a lot of podcasts do not split episodes and they'll run long conversations, but I just kind of wanted to explain, just to know, for one, to let y'all know that I am paying attention to the comments. You know, if I see something and I think it needs touching on, or, that it's something that should be brought up, that I'm paying attention and I'm listening. But I want to explain why I do that. For one, it's very difficult to get a lot of conversations and getting people to come on in general. And two, my time is not wide open either. So when we have conversations that are over an hour and a half long, by the time we add in the Around the Howl and the Spotlight and the listener questions and the introductions and all that kind of stuff, you know, it'll make it a 2-hour episode, when I could take and make that episode into 2 episodes. So for one, it doesn't make listening to a 2-hour episode so long. Yeah, some people would come back and listen, but some, like myself, you know, I like listening to a podcast for a little while, but I have several podcasts that I listen to throughout the week, and a 2-hour podcast to me takes up space where I could be listening to another one. So I think it just makes it way too long, and it helps me keep that episode going every week like I'm trying to do for y'all. So that's really the 2 biggest reasons. And one thing I am working on too, guys, I'm playing with the way the flow of the episodes go. I know with the Around the Howl and the Spotlight, it's adding some different elements in. I am working on trying to be a little cleaner with the breaks whenever we do these sections. And I'm also up to suggestions. I know breaking up the episode, the singular episode for the Around the Howl and the Spotlight, I don't know if that's popular or not. Let me know what y'all are thinking. Please shoot me a message, comment on the videos, comment on wherever you're listening. I can see it most of the time, especially if you're listening on YouTube. It's really easy for me to see it on there. But if not, just shoot me a message on Facebook, or however you want to do it, and just let me know what you think. Do you like the Around the Howl and the Spotlight, kind of breaking the episode up a little bit, or should we start? I'm going to play with it this way. This time, I'm going to put the Around the Howl and the Spotlight at the end of the episode. That way, you get your full episode in, and then it gets to the Around the Howl and the Spotlight. So let me know which way y'all like best. But on this episode, in particular, we're going to go ahead and finish up our conversation with Mr. Chip Kohser. We have a lot of great products left. I know, like I said last week on this, at the beginning of this conversation was, I know these kind of episodes are not what everybody likes to listen to, but this is a lot of really important stuff in here. If you're serious about your health and maintenance of your dogs, it's worth it. And then, of course, you got the promo code too to get a 10% off of the Elite Nutrition products from Cajun Lights. So y'all be sure to check all that out. Check out their products, guys. I want to try to do some hardcore pushing on these guys, and let me know what y'all think. If y'all are trying the products, let me know what you think of them. Every product that I've tried so far, I've really, really enjoyed. So just let me know what you think. This one has a lot of cool stuff in it, guys. I promise you. Listen to this one. It's worth it. I promise. So without further ado, let's get started. Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds podcast. The Hounds podcast is proud to partner with Outdoor Dog Supply again for the 2025 season. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online garment sales with their world-class trade-in programs. These guys are not just a business, they're also houndsmen and women too. They test their products out in the field and really put them to the test. Get the latest in garment equipment, stay locked and ready with field trial equipment, collars, leashes, and so much more. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com, and we want to thank Outdoor Dog Supply for their support not only for the podcast, but in the field trials across the country. When you're looking for your next purchase and equipment, keep Outdoor Dog Supply in mind. Now let's get this episode started, guys. Thank y'all so much. Next product, Active Dog. I think that's going to be a big one.
I'm going to tell you about Active Dog.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell you what to do in lieu of Active Dog. Because Active Dog is a little 5-ounce shaker.
Yep.
That it's packaged for the pet owner, not for you guys.
Okay.
But the Active Dog, what it is it's got hyaluronic acid, MSM, glucosamine, chondroitin, turmeric, boswellia, which is a little bit of a natural painkiller, all rolled into one, very highly concentrated. That same mix rate that we were talking about on the other, that 1 ounce per 10 pound of feed, and it will help your joints recover very quickly.
Gotcha.
But my suggestion to you guys is to use the horse product called EnduraFlex Plus.
Okay.
It comes in a 2-pound container that you're going to get a lot better bang for your buck that way than buying the little shaker for the pet owner.
Gotcha.
In addition to that, we've got a new one out.
Okay.
That is going to be a combination of, it has the EnduraFlex Plus in it. Okay. But it also uses an ingredient, white willow bark, which is a painkiller.
Oh.
So it is going to be an anti-inflammatory that will work as good as Dex, and you don't have to worry about overdosing your dogs.
That's going to be the
and
one
right there. You can use it. You can use it indefinitely, but to really get the results, unlike Dex, it's not going into the vein. So if you just do it between your rounds, it's not going to kick in quick enough.
Okay.
But if you use it at least a week leading up to and leave it mixed in there, you will. I mean, you'll be able to see the difference. It is a phenomenal product. We use it on the horses, but that product with the combination of that white willow bark is called UltraFlex.
UltraFlex,
So the UltraFlex is going to be more for, the EnduraFlex Plus is going to be for joints and anti-inflammatory, but the UltraFlex is going to be like the EnduraFlex Plus on steroids, if you will. I think it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but I think for your guys' purposes,
absolutely,
you're going to like the UltraFlex a lot more. And we are going to come out with that on a dog label eventually. But right now, you want to get the horse label, and like I said, that's UltraFlex, and LW is going to shoot me because they haven't gotten the pictures yet to get it on the website. So you guys that want the UltraFlex, give me 2 days so I can get the pictures down to LW, and he can get it up on the website. But
gotcha.
To give you an idea, the Active Dog in the 5-ounce shaker is $20 retail. Right. The EnduraFlex Plus, and that's going to treat 50 pounds of dog food. Okay. For $20. Okay. The EnduraFlex Plus is a 2-pound container for $95. So, if you do that,
that's a big difference.
Times, yeah, exactly right. So you're getting, you're saving yourself over $25 right there. Yeah. Now the UltraFlex, that one's it's more expensive, but you also have those other properties in there. Yes. It's going to be $129 for that. The other thing I forgot, both of them are going to have collagen on them too, so they're going to both repair missing and lubricate those joints as well. In addition to just taking the anti-inflammatory out, it's going to help repair the joints and lubricate the joints for long-term wear and tear. And there ain't too many dogs in this world outside of Huskies in Alaska that are putting on as many miles as you guys are. Yes. Either in the pen or out of the pen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're talking we're going about 40 miles in one day, so it's sometimes more than that. So
I mean, I sat with the judges down at the Tar River Pen one time. There's a few of you guys out there that have some dogs that they do 40 miles and never get off the road.
Yeah, exactly. Just call them out like that, Dan. Call it how you see it. I like it. Hey, some of y'all needed to hear that. Just saying. That's coming from outside. So, you could probably say, if you're, pleasure running, it's hard work. It's a lot on them. It's a lot of strain. But you could probably use the EnduraFlex, while you're not going to a competition hunt. And then you can make that switch over to the UltraFlex leading up to a hunt.
Yeah, and the UltraFlex, the biggest thing there is it's going to be the pain killing aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is it's going to make a sore dog run that doesn't even know he's sore anymore.
I like that.
But it's not going to be a situation where he's going to cause himself more injury.
Right.
If he was on morphine or some kind of opiate, where, what I mean, where he just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, it'll make him feel good, but it won't make him feel so good he doesn't know he's hurting himself.
Exactly right. Like it's not going to be one of those ones where their guts are hanging out of their belly and they don't realize that.
Right. Yep. Then pulled a muscle. I've seen that before. Dogs will pull a muscle in a hunt and keep on digging just because they're so gung ho. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited for that one. I can't wait I can't wait to get my hands on that one.
I was waiting for that one on the dog side, and whenever my nutritionist told me the horse one's going to be the same as the dog one, I decided to not wait anymore.
I don't blame you. And I'm telling you.
And honestly, it took us a while to really come out with on the horse side because we were worried. A lot of the horse industry is geared towards taking horses to auction and selling them.
Yeah, that's right.
And we didn't want the reputation of, that horse is just all jacked up on that elite stuff. And end up selling a lame horse as a sound horse.
Yeah.
In the dog world, that's not a concern because you guys are keeping those dogs and running them until the wheels fall off.
That's right. We want to try to get it as much as we can. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, man, you got me excited for that. I can't wait to get my hands on that one. That one's going to be big. On those products, just keeping with those products, is there anything that we're missing on those? I think that seems to be
I think
we
covered those.
Cool. One
thing, the UltraFlex, you don't want to give it to a pregnant bitch.
Okay. All right. That's a good note.
That white, that one ingredient can cause the blood. It's the same active ingredient that you get in aspirin, so it can act as a blood thinner.
Right.
So we don't want to. We don't want to have that with a pregnant female.
Understood. Gotcha. Another big one I think is going to be a big deal. I know leading up to a hunt, I'm big on antibiotics, probiotics, those kind of things leading up to a hunt. Just like you said before, you don't ever know what you're going to get into when you get into the field, whether that be on the outside, inside. You just don't ever know. Standing water, all that kind of nasty stuff. So the Essential Dog seems to be something that I think is going to be a huge factor in helping with that. Obviously nothing's going to be a perfect answer to those situations, but kind of talk about the Essential Dog and what exactly it is, and if I'm maybe reading that the wrong way.
No, so the Essential Dog is there, but I'll pivot after I'm done with the Essential Dog and get into the Rebalance and the Restore too.
Yes.
So the Essential Dog, it is, first of all, I'm a dog food guy. That's what I made my living on. And any of these dog food companies out there that are telling you that they're selling you probiotics in their bag of dog food, they're selling you dead probiotics. They're in there. But the way dog food is cooked, it's cooked at over 212 degrees to make sure we're killing salmonella, which is a bad bacteria.
Yes.
And good bacteria and bad bacteria, they die at the same temperatures.
Okay.
So those probiotics that they're putting in there, they're going to be killed during that extrusion process the way dog food is cooked.
Makes sense.
And I've had one sales rep out there that didn't know the way dog food was made. Honestly, he was just somebody that he got a job selling dog food because the copy repair place didn't call him back or something. I don't know.
Understood.
He didn't know how dog food was made. He said, well, we just put ours on after they cook. Well, you can put them on after you cook, but those probiotics are going to activate at 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So unless your dog food is in climate control from the manufacturer on the truck in a reefer.
Right.
Get delivered to your feed store down in Alabama or in South Carolina and kept in air conditioning the whole time. Right. By the time that bag of dog food gets to you, it's going to be a bag of mush because you got those live probiotics you're putting on, spraying on top of the very thing that you want it to digest, and you're activating it. It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't make sense, yes.
Yeah, so I can flat out, the Essential Dog is a probiotic, a prebiotic, the highest maintenance on the market that there is. All of our probiotics are encapsulated so they get through the gut and into the intestines where they're going to do their job.
Yes.
You will increase your absorption rate by 20%, whether you're feeding the worst dog food in the world or the best dog food in the world. Wow. It's going to make a cheap dog food feed like $1 million, and it's going to make a better dog food feed even better to where your dogs are not going to eat as much food. The other thing that it does is it's going to be a vitamin and mineral balancer. Okay. One of the things we get to whenever, especially when we get guys that are carrying around 50, 60 dogs.
Yes.
Come deer season, they might supplement with a little venison. Yes. Or they might supplement with something that they get from the butcher shop or chicken or whatever. Yeah. And I'm all fine and good with that. But the one thing that you're doing when you're adding that stuff to them for calories is you're throwing off that vitamin and mineral balance. Makes sense. Right. And a lot of guys, not just hunters, but a lot of guys in general, overlook at the importance of the vitamins and mineral balance in their animal, and they tend to look at protein, fat, and calories. Right. This is a way of balancing that out, especially if you got a bitch that you want to breed or a stud dog that you're getting ready to breed. Those vitamins and minerals for them are just as important as those calories. So when you're doing that, again, the mix rate is still that 1 ounce per 10 pound of dog food. We kind of keep it simple. Right. So you don't have to remember over and over again. And if you look at the container, it's going to give you the dosing per feeding per thing. Right. But my go-to is that 1 ounce per 10 pound of dog food. But when you are feeding meat, whether it be venison, chicken, or whatever, figure in the weight of that whenever you're applying it. Okay. And you want to divide it by 90% because remember, your fresh meat's 90% water. Gotcha. So you don't have to accommodate. If you got 10 pound of chicken, you only need to accommodate 1 pound of actual meat, not 10 pounds because of the water that's in that product. But it's a very good product to balance that. Make sure no matter what concoctions, what you're doing to maybe try to save on your dog food bill, it's going to balance it out as though you were feeding a really well-formulated dog food out of the gate. And I can tell you, as long as you buy it at least in a 2 pound container, it will pay for itself with your increased absorption on the feed if your bag of dog food is over $25. Okay. So if you're feeding that, and quite frankly, if you're buying something that's under $25, then you've got other issues. You're in the wrong sport if you're doing if you're buying that. Yes, 100%. I'll tell you this story, and he may be listening. And if he did, I don't remember his name, so nobody will know I'm picking on him. But I was at the Virginia Hunting Dog Alliance Shrimp Feast one year, and I'm standing in the line talking to this guy, and this is when I worked for Joy, and he was running deer dogs. Yeah. And he came up to me in the line. And he said, "You work for Joy?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Can you get me a price on a pallet of that by the ton?" And I said, "Sure." Yeah. We get to talking. I said, "What are you feeding now?" And he's like, 4 loaves a day. I'm like, "Come again?" He goes, "Well, I go down to the bakery and I get their day-old bread and I give each dog 4 loaves of bread a day, but they're just not holding weight. I'm going to have to start feeding some dog food, but it's so darn expensive. They want at least $18 a bag for it now." Woo. And I'm like, "So you root for the Redskins, Virginia Tech?" Like, I just changed. I knew I was never going to sell that boy a bag of dog food. No, not happening. No. Ooh, 4 loaves a day. That's couldn't figure out why they weren't keeping weight on. Yeah, I bet. But and then the Essential Dog does, for you guys that have a lot of hounds, it comes in a 2 pound container. It comes in a 5 pound container, and it comes in a 30 pound container. Okay. The 2 pounder is going to treat 300 pound of dog food. The 5 pound container is 750, and that 30 pound container is going to be almost a little bit over 2 ton of dog food. Wow. So it's going to last a long time. You can't ask better. I mean,
I know right now I'm just putting over top of each bowl, and I'm doing about a third of a scoop over top of each bowl is about where I'm at. It seems to be with it. If I've read the label right, that seems we're about where you need to be.
It's one of those things you cannot overdo.
Yeah.
But back to your point about fighting the infection, what that's going to do is it's going to build up that dog's immune system.
Right.
Those probiotics and prebiotics in there are going to build up the dog's immunity. It has binders in there that what those binders do is they stop different things from absorbing, like bacteria from absorbing through the intestinal wall and forces out of their system.
Okay.
It's going to help prevent and give your dog a better immunity for getting into some of those things that you're dealing with.
Right.
If you got guys that are really prone to getting yeast infections in their ears or where they're chewing on their feet, or it's going to take care of a lot of those external allergy situations as well as a preventative.
I got you.
On the infection side, our Rebalance and our Restore, both of those products will do everything that an antibiotic will do for you. You do not need a script for them. You do not need to refrigerate them. They have a 2-year shelf life.
Wow.
And they also, when you're using them, they don't have bacteria resistance.
Okay.
So the biggest reason antibiotics have gotten hard to get over the last 2 years is you got to go and get a script for them because of the bacteria resistance.
Right.
These products are not going to be bacteria resistant, and they're not going to, in the case of the Rebalance, it will not kill the good gut bacteria. So your dog's gut is going to still function the same way it always did while you're
like it should
going through the treatment. Whereas with an antibiotic or with our Restore tubes, that will actually kill the good bacteria along with the bad bacteria. Where I tend to use the two differently is I use the Rebalance whenever whatever I'm treating is contained to one dog.
Okay.
And then I use the Restore because it is stronger. It also uses colloidal silver as a bacteria killer.
Okay. All right.
But so it's going to work stronger than the Rebalance, but it's more expensive to use. It comes in a paste.
Okay.
So I use the Rebalance when I'm treating one dog or whatever I'm doing is contained to that dog.
Gotcha.
Right, and I use the Restore whenever I'm concerned about it spreading to the rest of the kennel.
Gotcha.
So Rebalance is going to be one of the products we use in our Lyme disease treatment.
Okay.
And I'll touch base with that at the end. It's going to be what I use for ear infections.
Okay.
I can give it to a pregnant bitch as a preventative for mastitis and uterine infection 7 days before whelping to 7 days after.
Yep.
I'm going to use it for wounds, that type of stuff to fight them from within. Whereas the Restore I'm going to use for kennel cough or any upper respiratory stuff, or anything that's going to spread throughout the kennel.
Throughout the entire kennel.
I sell a lot of Restore to the dog haulers because whenever you get 50 dogs in the trailer, you know what I mean, from everywhere. The Restore tends to work really well at preventing them.
That would probably be good for our guys at the break-in pens. That'd probably be really good for if you get ready to take a dog to one of the break-in pens and stuff, and you got dogs that you've never seen before that you're going to be kenneled close to or surrounding. That'd be a really good product to have sending down. The Hounds Tales podcast would like to take a minute and talk about our friends over at Cajun Lights. When pleasure running at night or judging those nighttime field trials, you can put your trust in Cajun Lights. With the economical Cajun Bayou for the every now and then light user, the Cajun Micro for the nighttime feeds and around the house times, then the top level Cajun Blinder for those hardcore crossing getters at night. The Cajun Lights are headlamp style light that free up your hands for voice recorders or your GPS. They offer flood style lights in red, amber, and a white walking light, then the top of the line 4-level main beam light. If you're having a hard time catching crossings at night, give the Cajun Light a try, and the red and amber setting to catch the game without distracting them, and with the easy flick of a switch, go back to your main beam light to catch your hounds in action and get those numbers. Visit their website today at CajunLights.com, and at the checkout, make sure you fill out the survey after your purchase and select Hounds Tales Podcast to receive 5% off your next purchase with Cajun Lights. Now, let's get back to the episode. Awesome.
And that's, I mean, both of them are going to be more expensive than penicillin.
Yes.
But the upside is you can have it and get it whenever you need it.
Right.
You don't have to worry about the resistance. And flat out, penicillin, doxycycline, none of that stuff is going to kill your Lyme disease. And from what I've gathered, I'll just get into that now.
Yeah.
What I've gathered, the Lyme and the Ehrlichia is not affecting you guys as much as it is the bird hunters and the
coon. You get Lyme every now and then, but you don't hear about it like a rampant thing.
And I think part of it is you guys have more dogs than, like, you're not noticing the difference in each individual dog the way a guy that's hunting the same dog every night individually is either. But our Lyme treatment, it's a 90-day treatment, and that will work on Lyme, Ehrlichia, Anaplasmosis, any of your tick-borne diseases.
Okay.
And for you guys out there that might have Lyme yourself personally, you don't have to take the nasty tasting stuff for dogs. We do have that for humans too. But it's a combination of the Rebalance, our Canine Guard, which we're going to talk about, and our Happy Dog Plus. So the Rebalance does the kill part.
Okay.
The Canine Guard detoxifies the dog to get those toxins out of the body as they die. Yep. And Happy Dog Plus builds up their immune system so you can still hunt while you're on them. If any of you guys have ever been through any tick-borne disease with your dog, a lot of times what happens is they get the doxy, they look like $1 million, and as soon as that dog becomes stressed again, it comes roaring back.
Right back in.
This will not come back once you get through. That doesn't mean you can't get it again from a new bite.
Right.
It's not going to come back from the same situation.
Okay. And I know on Cajuns, CajunLights.com, in their elite section, they have I think that's actually the first one you see on their website is you can buy that combination of those three products.
Yeah, they bundled them all together.
They bundled them all together.
Confusion.
Exactly. That was a huge step in my opinion that what they did that, and that hits exactly what you're talking about right there. So if you're fighting those kind of issues, there you go. That's the easy way to get to it. Is go on CajunLights.com and just get it straight from there as that combination.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to touch on with the Essential Dog too, and I know it's listed under the description of the product, is the iron benefits, the increase in the iron. What does that do for a dog? Maybe you can kind of give a little insight on why that's important for a dog.
Well, iron is one. It's going to help with that blood flow, the circulation. Okay. One of the biggest things on any healthy person, dog, horse, whatever, is getting good circulation. So the iron is going to help with that circulation. But the iron's also going to be a building block with the muscles too. So that's going the iron's going to help the amino acids when we're trying to have a dog that's, a rock or a champion instead of just a house pet. That ability to develop and continue to build muscle, that's going to be a plus. So, the way we grow muscles, whether we're lifting weights or a dog running through the woods, is we basically we make that muscle sore by tearing a little bit, and then that recovery makes it bigger.
Yep,
and that's essentially what the iron's going to do, is it's going to help that to rebuild. Gotcha.
Understood. Okay, so it's like a recovery effort. Gotcha. Understood. Now, as far as those three products, the Essential Dog and the other two that you had talked about and brought up, what is a regiment on those? I think that's going to be something that a lot of guys are going to want to know as far as how often, what's going to be the best results for these products.
So the Essential Dog, that's going to be a maintenance product, like I said. That's going to be, the top dressing, or you can do the 1 pound or 1 ounce per 10 pound of dog food. That's something you can give every day.
Okay.
And it's going to pay for itself every day. Again, like I said, you're going to decrease your food bill by using Essential Dog, because your dog is going to maintain on eating less.
Gotcha.
I've never met a guy that keeps a bunch of dogs that has got into a bunch of dogs to have a big dog food bill,
right?
Or to clean a lot more crap.
Right.
The Essential Dog is going to take care of both. It's going to lower your dog food bill and reduce the amount of stool that you got to clean up. So with that we're touching on two.
Yeah.
These are going to make having a pile of dogs a lot easier.
Daggone right.
On the Rebalance and on the Restore,
yes,
we're going to use those as needed.
Okay.
Obviously, the Rebalance, if I've got an ear infection, normally it's 1 cc per 10 pound of dog weight, twice a day.
Right.
Typically, I'm going to get rid of that ear infection and any remnants of it in a week.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
If I'm fighting a wound, I'm going to fight it until I know that wound is not infected from the inside out. We have other products that are going to treat the outside part. The Rebalance I use as a preventative on my breeding protocols. Again, 7 days before whelping, 7 days after. I'm never going to worry about mastitis or uterine infection again.
Gotcha.
The Restore, I'm going to use that when I start noticing the snotty noses or the kennel cough or whatever. But neither one of those products are products that I'm going to do as a performance enhancer unless I see a problem in my dog or diagnose a problem in my dog.
Gotcha. As needed kind of product.
Now on the Restore though, I guess I said that and then I backtracking. On the Restore, if you've got a dog that is sick leading up to a trial, or maybe it was just diagnosed with Lyme disease, but you didn't get a chance to treat it yet.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of success with the Restore leading up to the day of the trial, giving it a dose to that dog every 6 hours around the clock. In fact, at Super Stakes last fall, again, it's a different sport, but it's still a hound.
Right.
A young lady had a dog that had just been diagnosed with Lyme disease. That night she went out on Monday. He was standing on his head. Following her was not the same dog.
No kidding.
I gave her some Restore because I didn't want to sell it to her.
Yeah.
Like I had a theory, but I wasn't 100% sure on it.
Right.
So I gave her the Restore, and I said, hit that dog every 6 hours around the clock. That next night, it doubled up, and she ended up placing in the money. But, I mean, it works quick enough that it's going to, if you've got an itch that your dog's dealing with, and you've got a big trial coming up, it will get them over that edge. It is not going to, that edge might come back the day after.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's not the long-term solution to that problem.
But if you need to get through a hunt.
It will get you through it the same way you and I might drink a bottle of NyQuil.
Right. Yeah, get through the night. I understand. We're going to take a quick second and pause this episode and talk about our partners over at Elite Nutrition. Our hounds, they're athletes, guys. They give us their all each and every time that they're casted. Elite Nutrition offers an all-natural products to give your dogs the natural benefits they deserve. From the Canine Remove, an all-natural wormer, to the Electro Boost paste for an electrolyte replenishment, body fluid balance, and blood flow improvement. They also have products like Active Dog Powder for recovery and joint muscle support, Essential Dog Powder for daily vitamins and minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes, and then the Canine Lactate Powder for nursing dogs to help with milk supply. There are tons of other products for y'all to check out at CajunLights.com, then click on the Elite Nutrition section to explore. When you go check out, only at CajunLights.com, use the code HTElite10 to receive 10% off your Elite Nutrition products. Again, that's HTELITE, the number 10, to receive 10% off Elite Nutrition products only via CajunLights.com. I've been using their products over the past couple months, and I could not be happier with the results. See for yourself today, and we want to thank Elite Nutrition for taking a step forward into this field trial sport. Now, let's get back to the episode, guys. Before we get into the next section, too, with some of these other products, all these products that we've been talking about, I know a lot of guys are going to have questions about stacking. Are they okay putting all together? Is it something that if I wanted to give the Canine Punch, the Essential Dog, and the Ultraflex for instance, can I put all that together and it's not going to hurt anything?
Yeah, you're not going to hurt anything. I wouldn't recommend the Active Dog and the Ultraflex because you're doing the same thing.
Yes, right.
No, you're not going to hurt anything at all. There's going to be, when we get to the very end, we're going to talk about some horse products that we can use for dogs again. When we start dealing with some of the organ products, we want to be a little bit more cautious there. But what we discussed so far, you're not going to have any conflict. And again, there's nothing that I've given you so far that you can overdose your dog. In fact, the rebalance, the first time my boykin got an ear infection, back to the reading glasses things, I told my wife I was out of town, give Milo some rebalance. Well, she didn't put her glasses on. Instead of 1 cc per 10 pound of body weight, she gave him 10 cc's per 10 pound of body weight. I mean, it cleaned up the ear infection, but I will say his stool was a little bit runnier than normal. As far as his health, he was fine.
Our body didn't know what to do with all that.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Well, perfect. I know. I think the stacking was going to be a big question that was going to be brought up.
Yep.
Just kind of looking ahead, I know a lot of guys are probably that want to get into these products and want to use them. They're going to ask that kind of question of.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is, you guys run into a lot of thyroid dogs the way the walkers do.
Nope.
So I'll just touch on it. So we have a product called Thyroid that will help with thyroid dog situations.
Yeah.
When you talk about stacking, my one thing that I tend to tell those guys first is either treat for or at least get a test for tick-borne diseases before you start treating the thyroid.
Okay.
Because a lot of times the thyroid is a symptom of the other disease.
Gotcha.
So I can give you a product that will help if you have a true thyroid dog.
Right.
Rather than treat the symptom, I'd rather get to the root cause. And so that's one where I do say, and it's not going to hurt to stack it, but it's one where I say, let's save you the money
right.
with the cause instead of the symptom.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I know a lot of the coon hunting guys, and talk about the thyroid problems a whole lot. And I don't know, maybe I just don't know about them enough, but I don't ever really hear of a lot of thyroid problems with our.
Well, I think
our
part of it
dogs.
is I don't think your bloodlines are as tight.
Probably not.
I think a lot of times, because the two that it's most common in are the retrievers, the coon hounds, and
a lot of line breeding.
I'm going to have some guys tell me I'm wrong, and that's fine. I might very well be wrong, but the common sense perspective of me is we've been line breeding for 100 years, and most people didn't know what a thyroid was until 10 years ago.
Right.
So we've been breeding for the best, but we haven't been necessarily paying attention to some of the negatives.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, I got you. So, that's those products that we've talked about so far, I think are going to be some of the bigger impact products that y'all have in this sport. But y'all have so much more to offer. Let's kind of hit on some of these other ones, and let's start with the, you hit on them a little bit there, but your wound and healing and hotspot products, those kind of products that y'all have to offer. What do y'all have for us on that in that aspect?
All right, so for wound care, we've got 3 products. First and foremost is our Recover. Our Recover is what I call the one that's for the nasty wounds that make you almost throw up.
Okay.
When you got a big open wound, there's a lot of products on the market like Blue Coat and other ones that have been around forever.
Right.
What they do is they seal off that wound and protect that wound from getting dirty to stop infection.
Yes.
What the Recover does is it's going to do that, but it also has that colloidal silver in it, so it's going to actually start killing the infection upon contact.
Gotcha.
And this one, when you look at the price of it, guys, you're gonna be like $57 for a bottle of stuff, Blue Coats, whatever.
Right.
But honestly, you're gonna treat 5 wounds on a dog before you even notice that it's getting low.
Gotcha.
Like it's literally 1 squirt twice a day.
Right.
And it will take from a puncture wound from a bear or a lion to barbed wire fence.
Stick stab.
Laying wide open.
Right.
It will heal better than anything I've ever seen from the inside out, and you won't get proud flesh, that rotten flesh that tends to never it's going to take care of and dry that out.
Gotcha.
Our Already is another product that is going to be more, it's going to have cleaning properties like hydrogen peroxide. So even if you got a wound like the Recover, you might want to hit it with the Already first just to clean it.
Right.
But the Already is going to be very good for superficial wounds around the face, scratch. You can spray it right in their eyeball. Instead that same product we're using to treat pink eye on cattle, we'll spray it right in their eyeball.
Right.
So I say a lot of times it's for bean field eyes.
Okay.
Those dogs are running through the soybean fields and
we got them too.
It's all torn up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really good product to help heal that.
Okay.
If you get ringworm or any kind of itch on your dog anywhere, it's going to deal with that and heal that. And then the last one is a new product that we just come out with called Tough Paw.
Okay.
That you can use as a preventative for splitting your pads, but also it will help heal the pads as well.
No kidding. That could be a big one too.
Yeah, I actually the first guy that we did trial and error on is a guy up here my way that hunts coyotes on the outside, and I mean he's running 50, 60 miles a day.
Right.
And we got that ice.
Yeah.
That ice tears the hell out of their pads, and he's had a tremendous amount of luck with that Tough Paw.
Okay.
Just keeping them soft and supple where they're not splitting, but those ones that he was already dealing with that were split,
Right.
It did help heal them as well.
Now, what do you think that does for like like burning paws? We have a lot of issues, and of course, that's a lot of the road runners that they have that problem. But
it's
a lot of dogs.
It's going to help in that situation as well because it's going to provide the elasticity and it's going to help them out as well, where they get that pounding from running on the same thing over and over.
And that's that was. I didn't want anybody to be confused on that because when you say soft paws, some people hear soft paws and be like, oh, well, then just going to burn off real fast.
No, absolutely not.
Exactly, I agree.
We're making them
tough,
responsive to the issue that they're dealing with.
Right. Understood. And
then the other thing that you can always use for nasty wounds, like use to recover, but also in those really bad situations, I would also use the rebalance. Okay. The rebalance is going to fight that infection from the inside out.
Gotcha.
Get into the bloodstream and fight it versus just being a topical.
Now your foot product, is that going to be a spray? Is that like a paste? What kind of?
It looks like Vaseline.
Vaseline, yeah. That's kind of what I figured it would be. I've always been a big mushers guy. I don't know if you've ever seen mushers or used mushers before, but that's been a big product that I've always liked to use. So I'll definitely that's something I'll definitely be investing in. And
that's another one, guys. Don't go and beat LW up on that for a couple of days. That's another new one you got to get at.
I gotcha. I'll keep on them. Don't worry. Now. Maybe you kind of hinted at it. Maybe
also mentioned the hot spots.
Yes, hot spots and coyote sores.
Dealing with hot spots. The already is going to help once they're already out and exposed.
Okay. Yep.
But if you got a dog that's really prone to hot spots, and I hate talking about hot spots because everybody's definition of hot spot is different.
Yes.
There's 1,000 different causes for a hot spot.
Right. We call them coyote sores.
Yes. I can tell you the number one reason for hot spots, whether it's from a food sensitivity or protein sensitivity, or it could be because the Chemwan guy came yesterday to your neighbor's house.
Right.
It is whenever we get environmental toxins in our body or in their body that they don't know how to deal with.
Okay.
That canine guard that we were talking about as part of the tick treatment.
Gotcha.
It is going to be the best thing we have for dealing with dogs that do have food allergies or that are prone to getting hot spots. If they're really prone to getting yeast and stuff like that, over and above what the Essential Dog can do, it's going to be a better product for that. That's what it's designed to do, is remove those toxins from the body.
Perfect.
The other thing that we do in a lot of cases, and honestly, I haven't tried it with the new Ultraflex yet.
Yep.
And again, I'm not a guy that's going to sit here and tell you to use anything but anti-venom.
Right.
In the case of snake bite, the comfort level of the treatment with the canine guard and the rebalance, it helps, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you don't use the anti-venom.
Right.
You're just a fool.
That's right.
And you have access to anti-venom, use it. That's what it's for.
That's
but
right.
As far as getting rid of the toxins out of the system, it will help, but it's not going to save your dog in 5 minutes.
Gotcha. Understood. So, there's other products that y'all have, and like I think me and you talked yesterday, you could probably do a whole nother episode on these.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We have a lot of products that are geared towards the breeder.
Yes,
and that's one thing we want to drop in a couple months, where we do one specifically for the dog breeder.
Yep, and we'll I agree. Maybe kind of just hit maybe some of the names of them that are so
I will. And there's one other one I want to touch base for the guys for the right now situation too, is our GI equalizer.
Okay. Yes.
So that's the strongest probiotic on the market in a liquid form. The Essential Dog is an additive, a maintenance. This is a one shot. We're fixing a problem. It might take a couple doses, but for dogs that have upset stomachs, they come back, they're eating grass, whatever, whether it's your pet or your hound.
Right.
You can just look at them and know that they're not comfortable. This is going to reset their gut. The other thing where we use a lot of this for is dogs that don't travel well. Give them a dose before you put them in the box. Give them a dose when they get out of the box. It's going to calm their stomach while they're traveling and reduce that box to field time or pen time, whatever you want to call it. It's going to help them deal with those uncomfortableness of being in a dog box if they don't travel well.
And y'all also have the
situations. The dog gets stressed for any reason. He doesn't want to eat feed. The GI equalizer will get him back to eat feed.
The Hounds Tales podcast is happy to announce our newest partnership with Low 10 Outfitters. If your kennel is looking for new apparel to rock to the next field trial, look no further than Low 10 Outfitters. They offer shirts, hats, hoodies, coats, and other accessories with custom logos for your kennel or your hound to go on. With top quality merchandise and long-lasting quality, you can't go wrong with Low 10 Outfitters. And very soon we will be offering Hounds Tale podcast apparel on their website at low10outfitters.com. So be on the lookout for that coming up here soon. Thank you, Low 10 Outfitters, for teaming up with the Hounds Tales podcast. And don't forget, guys, low10outfitters.com to get your apparel for your kennels. Now, let's get you back to your episode. Gotcha. And you're talking about the calmness of a dog, y'all. What's the? I'm blanking on the name of it.
Y'all have dog.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So
dog,
that one, and that one's one that's really geared towards fluffy, if you will. The dogs are scared of thunderstorms and fireworks.
Right.
That type of thing. It is a paste. A lot of times you get a dog that's scared of those things, and they know the storm's coming before you do. Right. And by that time, they don't want to take the treat that's supposed to come because they don't want to eat. So exactly. This is a paste you put in it, but it does not knock them out. It doesn't put them to sleep. Instead, in fact, a similar product that we have for the racehorses or the horses, we'll give the racehorses in the starting gate to just kind of calm them, focus them in the starting gate. So where I have used the screen dog kind of crossing over into the hunting dog world, is whenever I got that dog that might be really aggressive on the tree. In your case, maybe those dogs that kind of lose track of the game because they're more focused on what that other dog next to them's doing. It is going to be something that will help
mental focus
on what the task at hand.
And that was the question I had. Does it make them tired? Does it
no,
seem
it will not make them tired.
Okay, gotcha. That's good to know because I know
that is one that you don't want to go more than the suggested.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Because it is a calming paste.
Yes.
Like if you're trying to knock your dog out that's scared of the fireworks, give them a whole tube.
Right.
Whenever you're planning on competing with your dog, that's one where you don't want to overdo it.
Be easy on it. I got you.
Yeah.
That'd be a good. If you got one that's a little crazy coming out the gate, that'd probably be a good one to give him a little bump right there before you hit him out. Maybe he gets his focus right before in that first hour of the hunt. So just hit me with some of these nursing and pregnant dog products.
So the big thing, we got our product, our ASAP, which is a colostrum-based paste, good for any puppy, any young dog. We have the same thing for horses, cattle, sheep, whatever. But it is a phenomenal product. It does some miraculous things. If you've got puppies that are not thriving, I've even seen puppies on death's door that have recovered from the ASAP. Right. In fact, we had one of my breeders had a bitch that didn't have milk, and then the bitch actually passed away. We were waiting on a surrogate mom, and they were able to keep that puppy alive for 24 hours, or those puppies alive for 24 hours without milk using the ASAP.
Wow.
We have another product called Canine Lactate, which is designed to get milk there for mom when she needs it. If you have an abnormally large litter, or if she just doesn't have milk, it will make her drip within an hour.
Wow.
You don't want to use that though before they whelp, otherwise they will drip out their colostrum.
Yeah.
We have a product called, a lot of my professional dog breeders are going to use calcium. Calcium is what they use to force the contractions in a dog. So we have a calcium paste that you use during the whelping process to help that whelping process go more smoothly.
Gotcha.
I know some of you guys down there might have some hog dogs too.
Yep. Down south. Yep.
We have a red raspberry product that will actually make the uterus more elastic. It's a very specific product for a specific purpose, but for you guys that are running bulldogs, for $90, you can cut down on your C-sections by around 90%.
Wow.
Because a lot of, your French bulldogs, but any kind of bulldog's got that big head.
Yeah. It makes sense.
A lot of times that turns into C-sections.
Right.
This is going to make that uterus more elastic so they don't get to C-sections.
Interesting. Okay.
The Happy Dog Plus, which is one of the products that we mentioned for the Lyme treatment.
Right.
That product also is available in a paste that you can give to puppies. I love using it for Giardia treatment.
Right.
Like day 3, every 3 days for 3 weeks. It will create an environment where the Giardia does not want to repopulate. So when you do your killing of the Giardia at week 7, you don't get a big die-off and you don't get a false positive test. Let's see. And then we also have a product called Spike, which is for your stud dogs. It's not going to do anything for sperm count, but for those stud dogs that are more interested in the birds than the female sitting in front of them, it's going to give them that focus to what the task is at hand.
Yep.
And the other thing that it's going to do is if you have one that you're breeding a lot, it's going to give them the stamina to do it day in and day out.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And then
so it's like Viagra for dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And funny, I actually had a customer one time. We got done doing a dealer meeting, and he looked at me, and he with a big old smile on his face, and he was half side-eyed laughing at his wife over there. He said, "I started taking a Spike. My wife likes it." And I said, "Well, you're a fool." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Because we also have the drive paste for stallions. Why would you want to be a little rocket instead of a stallion? I'd much prefer to be a stallion."
That's right.
You know?
Good idea, just wrong product.
Yeah, and then the last product we didn't talk about, because again, it's another new one, so you might not even know, is we came out with a Canine Breathe, which it's an antihistamine product for dogs that have allergies during the spring, the fall, where, you know, they get those eyes that are all gunked up, they get runny noses more from an allergy. It's going to work like your Claritin and other stuff like that does, but instead of giving your dog a pill and buying over-the-counter drugs, give them a little dose of it with a paste and be on your way.
Perfect. All right, I'm checking my notes here real quick before I make sure I don't forget nothing. Man, I think that seems to be a lot of all your products. Is there any products?
Dog stuff, and cool. We do have stuff for you as well as your horses and your cattle and sheep. I mean, we're not going to spend time on the podcast, but if you guys have questions on what we have there, give me a holler. And again, that number is 412-596-0264.
Perfect, man. You know, I before we get off of here, I want to give you a big shout out. A lot of guys are nervous about coming into the field trialing world and trying to get involved with it. And I really do appreciate you coming in, working with the podcast and trying to get your steps and get your feet wet in this side of the sport too.
Absolutely.
So, is there anything out there for the field trial guys that you can give to just give a shout out or give anything that you can tell us that we haven't heard already?
Wow.
I know that's a loaded question.
That's a loaded question.
Yep. And I know for me speaking, it's one of the things that a lot of people are nervous about trying new products. And I understand that, I know a lot of guys are tried and true to the things that they are used to, the things that they were told by Billy Bob down the road or from your local hero that made 3 champions, But I'm telling you guys, everything that I've tried so far out of these products, I'm through the roof excited about. Everything that I've done and used has been phenomenal. No bad side effects. No side effects at all, honestly. It's all been positive. It's all worked really, really well. And like Chip said at the beginning, this is all natural product, guys.
Well, and that's the one thing I will say is, quite frankly, I'm asking you guys to spend your money with me, but I wouldn't have changed my occupation after my entire life if I thought that I was selling you a false bill of goods.
Yeah.
Give us a try. I think our products are going to work. One thing I will say, if you are apprehensive about trying our stuff and taking away from something else you're already doing, none of our stuff is stuff that you're going to not be able to use along with your other stuff. But I think in the long run, you might be able to replace that other stuff. But I'd rather you do that on your own accord than
because
I told you to.
Right, sir.
The other thing is, with all cases, our products are going to be safe to give to a pregnant female as well as a running dog. Until we get in, like I mentioned before, the organs, we do have some kidney products, guys, that will kind of flush out those kidneys. They're going to be a cross product for the dogs. Call me about those because we need to make sure we get the dosing right on those for your dogs. But those ones are ones that you can overdose them, and you don't want to give them to a pregnant female. But one thing I will tell you guys that I see a lot, and this isn't from the bird dog world to the foxhound world to the deer dog, coon hunters, whatever. Pay attention to your dogs. Even when you got 40 or 50 dogs.
Yeah.
Even keep yourself a journal of the body condition of each individual dog. I know it's harder for you guys than it is for me. But that body condition and what that dog responds to this year, next year,
huge.
That dog's body is going to tell you a lot about that dog. And if you don't pay attention and then all of a sudden you drop him because it's deer season and he's not running worth a darn,
right?
Because you're probably not paying attention to the dog enough leading up to that season.
Yeah.
The other thing I will tell you, and this is one of my pet peeves, and there's going to be guys that are going to argue with me, but when it comes to your feeding program, and I'm not here to push dog food today at all. I believe in feeding a good quality dog food over a cheap dog food, but one thing I will tell you is if you're feeding a good quality feed during the season, instead of switching to a cheap feed in the off season, feed less of the good quality feed in the off season.
Makes sense.
Reason for that, the way the dog gets his energy, it's like having a T-bone steak. When you cut that T-bone steak and that cow's been well fed, the reason that T-bone is so darn good is because it's got all that marbling in there.
Right.
You're feeding your dog a good dog food. That fat, which we want those dogs to get their energy from fat, not from carbohydrates. That's a low, steady burn instead of that real high peak and real low low. Right. So that fat, it's going to be able to pull from those fat reserves for more energy when it needs it.
Right.
If you go for 3 months onto an inexpensive feed, they're going to lose that marbling, if you will.
Right.
So then whenever you got to turn them back on, they're not going to have those reserves to keep going. And to get that marbling back, it's going to take you 3 months. It's not something you just turn a switch and all of a sudden 2 weeks later, field trial season starts. So I don't care whether you're feeding my dog food with Joy or Pro Plan or Showtime, Pride, whatever. Yeah. Stay on your good. Don't do that jumping around.
Makes sense.
There's going to be guys that disagree with me, and that's fine.
Yeah. Right.
I can still give you products that are going to help your dogs.
That's right.
You know, again, dog food is the most sensitive topic whenever it comes to. But that's one thing that I've found through my experience, but also dealing with guys for years and years and years.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a lot less.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Packing down the amount of feed instead of switching to a cheaper feed. Not to mention when you switch to a cheaper feed, you're going to have more cleanup too. And nobody wants to clean up more than
100%. 100%. Perfect, brother. Perfect, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you coming in with the podcast, man, and getting your feet wet in the field trial world, man. I really do.
And I do want to say one thing too, as far as supporting the field trial world.
Yes.
We are. This is new for us. I mean, we did a little bit of it with Joy.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to wrap around my head around how best to support you guys. The one thing I can tell you, first and foremost, is we are never going to sit on the fence on whether or not you guys should be able to do what you do.
Right.
We are not going to, it's kind of like Coca-Cola being pro-life and Sprite being pro-choice. It doesn't.
Right.
We're never going to talk out the backside of our mouth. We support hunting with dogs in any form or fashion that you guys want to.
Yes, sir.
We are going to, we're big supporters of the Virginia Hunt and Dog Alliance. We're big supporters of the state organizations that are fighting for you guys to continue to be able to do what you do.
Right.
That does not mean that we're not interested in helping you guys at the club level or even on a bigger scale too.
Yep. Right.
But I will tell you, be patient with me because I got to figure out how that works.
Yep.
It's not that I'm not going to be willing to open up a checkbook or do products, but I will be honest. We're going to do it to where it makes sense we want to support you guys, but at the same time, it's got to make sense for us as well.
That's right.
So, again, that doesn't mean, and I'm open to ideas too.
Yeah.
As far as from you guys. But the one thing I can tell you that in the dog food world, it doesn't make any sense. And we're going to do stuff with Elite. I ain't even touching dog food with you guys anymore.
Right.
That's Joy's baby.
Yeah.
But the whole buy a ton, give a ton thing, that doesn't make sense for a dog food company.
Right.
That makes sense because those guys that do it, they love you guys and they're willing to lose money to do it. But for a guy that's getting started, all that does is it makes my dealers not sell any dog food for 6 months. And rather, I could have danced around this or whatever, but I did just want to address it head on.
Yeah,
we are willing to support you guys, but make sure you're putting on the other hat and making sure that
support those that support us.
Ways, because I promise you, I can be more creative than anybody on the market. We're a small company. We can do a lot of different things to help support you guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes what you guys have been doing for 50 years isn't always the best either.
That's right. So just keep that in mind, guys, when you're looking for your next answer to any issues that you may be having with your hounds. Think about Elite Nutrition, and it will surely turn around. And like Chip just was talking about, they're ready to get in here, but it's got to be worth it. So that's just, you see people preaching about it all the time on Facebook. Support those that support us. So just
how about giving that a discount code with LW, too?
Yep, absolutely. Yep, that's exactly what I was about to do. If you visit CajunLights.com, you can use the discount code HTElite10. That's HTELITE and the number 10, and you'll get 10% off your Elite Nutrition products through CajunLights.com. So, guys, go on there, give it a shot. I promise you give it a shot. You're going to love it. And this is one thing about me, I'm not going to promote something I don't believe in. You can if you ever talk to LW for any reason, you can ask LW. LW was on me for about 3 months trying to get me to get in touch with Chip about, coming on with the podcast, and I refused to until I tried the products. And when I tried them.
One thing I can do for you guys, too, is if you're willing, we ain't even talked about this yet, but I can send you over a QR code that you can put onto your website, your Facebook, whatever.
Yeah.
That they can then, use their camera phone.
Right.
That will take you to a link to our catalog, which I'm holding right here.
Perfect.
That will have all of our products, all of our pricing in it. That way, if you guys didn't absorb everything we talked about, that will be right there for you. The other thing is, if you do want to get something that we talked about today and LW doesn't have it yet, give me a call. Again, that number is 412-596-0264. We'll make it happen. We're not that big of a company that we can't do different things to make things happen.
Awesome.
But I'm all in. And honestly, guys, that discount code, that's also back to the support thing. That's going to tell me whether you guys are paying attention or not, too. So.
That's right. Help me help y'all.
Yeah, exactly right.
Perfect, brother. Perfect, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on, man. Is there anything else you need to shout out before we get off of here?
I don't think so.
Cool, man. Well, everybody out there, thank y'all so much for listening. We'll be back again next week with another good episode. And don't forget, CajunLights.com, HTElite10, HTELITE, and the number 10. And get 10% off your Elite Nutrition products through CajunLights.com. All right, y'all, now it's time for Around the How, presented by Elite Nutrition. Just make sure you check out their products, Elite Nutrition products, at CajunLights.com. And for 10% off of Elite Nutrition products, when you use the code HTELITE and the number 10. That's HTElite10 at checkout. All right, let's get it rocking. All right, welcome to Around the Howl. This is for the week of February 26th, 2025. It is Masters Weeks, guys. Masters Week. The Masters Hunt being held down at Selhorns Fox Preserve. This hunt will draw some of the best dogs from around the country, most multi-day dogs from around the country to duke it out in a 3-day field trial. It's an early 3-day field trial. It's one of the bigger ones especially that are early in the season. So, if anybody's going down there, good luck. Not a lot going on that I've seen, as far as outside of the field trialing world, as far as, flashy news. There's been a couple dog incidents on the outside. We'll leave it at that, and they were handled thankfully in favor of the houndsman. So that's a big win on our side, guys. That just kind of proves that if you have a troubled area, and something happens to your hounds, make sure you document, you do everything the right way, let the law handle it, and the law will take care of business when it can. So just want to say hats off to everybody that was in the investigations and that was responsible for handing down a law on these guys. And I want to say sorry for the loss too on the families that lost their hounds. But I think that's worth noting. I'm not going to get into it on here. Not really my thing to do on here, but I think it is worth noting that it's nice to see that it did go our way for once. Let's see. On to other news. My Hunter's Horn magazine coming today. If you are getting it, it has the top 100 standings in several different point systems that are going on right now. So a lot of good write-ups. Including the USO and Mr. Chapman's win. We spoke with him a couple episodes ago. But let's see what else we got. The 2-day Masters that we're hosting at me, Demo, and Peyton Lucy are all working together to put on. I want to give a big shout out to the Masters for trusting us to do this and giving us the opportunity to use that weekend down at Billy Pools to put on a good hunt. We're excited. But if you have not sent your money in by the time you're listening to this, you might be too late, to be honest with you. They're reaching the end right here, guys. We are almost at our limit on dogs, and if you have not sent it in, get in contact with me or Peyton, and we will let you know if there's still room. But whenever it does fill up, we'll let you know too. We're going to make a post about it. But keep your eyes open for all that stuff. And then, of course, lots of good hunts were posted this week. Lots of high-stake action hunts being posted, like Chad Leggett's buggy and truck hunt. That one's pretty cool. So we had buggy for the high dog on day one, and then a truck to the winner of the 2-day derby. That's awesome. I know it's high stakes. That's pretty cool, man. I know, a lot of people frown upon the high stakes hunts, but man, it's still badass. Excuse my language, but it's just badass going to a hunt like that and having that all on the line. I wish I had something that I was confident enough to take down there and give a run at it, but I've got my butt spanked down there before, so I know what I need to come back, and I ain't got it yet. But maybe next year, maybe we'll have something ready for him next year. But that's a good one. As far as your one day goes, too, I've seen several big stake hunts, including the buggy hunt, Courthouse Hunt Club up here at Chocchuma. They're putting on a hunt for a buggy. That looks like it's going to be a pretty good hunt too. I'm thinking about getting a number for that one. I haven't 100% decided yet, but might try my luck down there. But as far as news and stuff going around the field trial and hound hunting world, that's about all I got this week, guys. We're going to try to stay on top of the stuff like always, but so, and again, this one is different. I almost said back to the episode, but what we're going to do, we're going to move straight into the spotlight. And of course, the Around the House section, this section was presented by Elite Nutrition. Don't forget to get your discount code HT Elite 10 at CajunLights.com for 10% off all your Elite Nutrition products. Let's move into the Spotlight by Cajun Lights, presented by Cajun Lights. It's now time for the Spotlight, presented by Cajun Lights. This is where each week we will recognize winners and other accomplishments across the field trial world. Now let's shine a lights on these guys and these dogs, and let's get to this week's winners. Not a whole lot of big happenings. Again, sorry, it's early in the year. It's just kind of the territory. It's a little hard to get these two sections on the ready, but I promise as the year develops, we'll be sure to try to do more. But we are starting to see the multi-day hunts starting to kick off. Like I said, the Masters is this week. So that'll be something for next week. We'll be able to discuss that and talk about how everything went down there. I'm going to try to see if I can sneak some details up here and let everybody know how it was. But there's a lot of hunts coming. We're starting to get hot and heavy into field trial, especially these multi-days. So, guys, if you're listening and you're hosting a hunt or your organization wants it to be on here, feel free to shoot me a message. Shoot me a private message, text me, email me, whatever you want to do. Get in contact with me, and we'll make sure it gets on here. It's a whole lot easier for me if you do that. That way I can have it saved, and I don't have to go searching around on Monday and Tuesday night. I'm trying to get all the results. But if that's something that you want, be sure to hit me up. Before we move into the end of the episode, I want to speak on the East Carolina Deer Classic. Wrapped up their season this past weekend, and the hound taking home the championship trophy was Brunswick Spot. That dog is out of champion No Pity Jigsaw and Moore's Martha from Brunswick Kennels. So congratulations to y'all on the win down there at the championship hunt in the East Carolina Deer Classic. Let's see. And the King of the Swamp points for the series finished up with a rigged system from Mr. Tony Davis and Mr. Buck My Assassin himself. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. No, I know when if you go back and listen to the episode we did with Mr. Tony Davis, we spoke on that, and it was cool. It was a cool thing. He just happened to him and I guess the kennel that he's a part of. They just had a really good year down there, and I had to give him a hard time on here. But congratulations to y'all. The Like 'em Right and Buck Assassin Kennels was the winner of the Kennel of the Year side for the King of the Swamp Point Series for that East Carolina Deer Classic. And the Hound of the Year was Like 'em Right Snapchat. So, nice showing for y'all down there, guys. Congratulations again. And then, I probably should have talked about this in the Around the House section, but y'all be sure if you are interested in running the series and want to help judge, just get up with me. Go ahead and get up with me now. Let me know. And we'll see what we can get worked out. And keep an eye out. We're going to have a lot of important updates for that coming up here soon. So, I believe that is it for the Spotlight presented by Cajun Lights. And then we're going to move into the end of the episode. We're going to move straight into the listener questions. It's time for the listener question section presented by the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine. If you're looking for a magazine that reaches all of your all things hound hunting, the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine has it. From foxhounds, deer dogs, hog dogs, small game dogs, you name it, the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine has it. Visit their website today at southernhoundhunting.com to get a 1-year subscription of quarterly magazines for just $20. Now let's get to these questions and we'll discuss these topics that y'all sent in. Thank y'all so much, Southern Hound Hunting Magazine, for your partnership. This one, close to home question. This was asked by my cousin, Miss Stacy Hudson. She had spoke on, and I think she may have had a few too many beers when she asked the question, but she asked about competitiveness in the deer woods. She kind of went on a little bit of a spill about how she's not a huge fan of competitiveness in the deer woods. And I see where she's getting at is we're out there to kill deer. We're out there to run deer, have a good time, enjoy the camaraderie, and just enjoy each other's times. And I agree, but I'm very competitive. I want to have the best dogs. Last year, my dogs were not that great. I have a lot of puppies, and I did not take the time with as they were growing with, and I'm paying the cost now. They just weren't a complete set. I've been spoiled the past 5 years on having a really good set of hounds on the outside, and now that pack has kind of dissipated, I'm back to square one, and I was spoiled the past couple of years, like I said. So going back to not having a whole lot, and then really, even with all the dogs I have, I wasn't pleased with the performance of them this year. I mean, they had deer killed in front of them. They did great, probably to a lot of people, that was a good season. We had multiple deer killed in front of the dogs. We had dogs that would jump and run and, did great. But I put a standard on my dogs, and that's just how I do it. But as far as competitiveness out in the deer woods, I think if you could, how do I say this? I like a little bit of competitiveness for the sheer fact of, I think if it's done right, it should push people to be better. Other than South Carolina, most of our deer dog seasons are not very long. I mean, up here in Virginia, we get, from the third weekend of November to the first weekend of January. So it's roughly 6-7 weeks, something like that. And that's tough. I mean, that's not a lot of time. So the way that I look at it, I don't want to waste, and especially if you work full time and working, 5 days a week and not only getting Saturdays, I added up. I had a lot going on this year. We had some issues, personal issues. I'll leave it at that. And, I went to the Invitational, so that was a whole weekend gone. I only hunted like 7 days total this year. So that was that sucked. But I guess where I'm going with that is, I don't want to waste time. I know, like I said, I'm very competitive. I want my dogs to be the best. I want my dogs to perform every time I drop the gate. So it's very difficult for me to go out there and hunt when dogs aren't doing anything. And I'm not trying to be rude, and we didn't really have a whole lot of that. We had times where dogs just didn't jump, whether it be weather conditions, whether it be no deer in the block, whatever. We don't know. But where I'm going with this is, if we push each other to have better dogs, that's going to make for a better season. Sure, of course, it can go too far. People can get butt hurt, and guys that have good dogs can be tail holes about it and start bragging. But if you can get a group of guys that can leave all that stuff at home, give each other a little crap, that ain't no problem. That's all fun and games. But I think a little bit of poking and prodding and pushing people to be better, I think is great. I think it's great for the dogs. I think it's great for you. I think it's great for the season. But if you have dogs and they're just not worth a crap, and you're worried about getting your feelings hurt, then I don't want to hunt with you. I know that's very blunt, and I may regret saying that, but if I don't mind hanging out with people and running dogs, but I'm here that we can do that during the off season. When it's time to kill and it's time to put one in the wind, I want to put dogs that are going to put one in the wind. I want to put dogs out there that are going to run, that are going to jump. Heck, I'd love to see some more competitiveness in the deer side. But of course, double-edged sword. Then you got guys that are going to get butt hurt, and then you got guys that are going to get their feelings hurt and not know how to handle it. But if you can just say, oh crap, my dog's had a bad day, whatever, that's great. But you also need to look at it and say, why did they have a bad day? What did I do wrong? What did they do wrong? Where did we miss in this situation so that we don't make that same mistake again? And I think that's where a competitiveness in the deer woods is healthy and it's okay. I see both sides. I see where, a no competitiveness is great because it does make things a little bit more relaxing. Sometimes I wish I wasn't as competitive as I was, or I am, excuse me. But when my dogs have a bad day, I get upset. I really do. I've learned as I've gotten older and matured a little bit to just shake it off. But when I was younger, I was not a happy person. I would do whatever I need. I would, just go off by myself and go cast them again just to prove to myself and make the dogs work. Just because I want to make them better. So I guess in the end, I guess a final statement is competitiveness to me in the deer woods is okay if used correctly. If it's used and abused, then of course it can make things it can make things not fun. But it's a double-edged sword. I think if it's used the right way and it's maintained, and I think that's left up to your club leaders to make sure that stays under control. But if that's something that can happen, then, to me, send it. Have fun. And then if you have dogs that go out there and they run up the road, then I want to be called out. I want to know. Me personally, I want to know about it. If my dogs are in the middle of a chase and they come to a road and they hit the road and they kind of cut around it, and me in deer woods, that's not going to fly with me. I want to know about it too. I want to know which dog it was. Tell me what it did. Tell me what you saw. But some people don't care, and that's their prerogative. I think if you learn who you hunt with, understand your surroundings, make good choices. I know that sounds like a parent thing to say, but all those combinations right there, and I think a competitiveness can be accepted and can be used, but don't over abuse it. So I know that was a little drawn out, guys, and I probably kind of repeated myself a bunch there, but that's kind of my take on the competitiveness in the deer woods. So, guys, I just want to thank y'all again so much for listening over and over again. Y'all really have made this whole journey a blessing. I could not do it without y'all. And be sure, guys, these guys that have come on board with the podcast, be sure to check these guys out. Check all their websites out. If you're looking for products, make sure you get some. Whether it be hunting supplies from Outdoor Dog Supply, lights from Cajun Lights, Elite Nutrition products, Southern Hound Hunting Magazine to keep your reading alive, and then of course our newest one with Low 10 Outfitters. If you're looking for apparel for your kennels, and soon we will be dropping Hounds Tales podcast merchandise on there that you can get directly from there and shipped to your door. So be on the lookout for that. And like I said, guys, if you're looking for any of that stuff, visit these guys. So, and let them know that you heard it from the Hounds Tales podcast. That helps me out too. Thank y'all. All right, guys. Until next week, and guys, we got some awesome guests coming up. We've already got the episodes recorded. I'm super excited to get these dropped. I know the next 2 weeks for certain we have awesome guests that y'all have been requesting, and I cannot wait to make it happen. So, all right, guys, without further ado, we're going to end this one. We will see y'all next week. Thank y'all so much for listening, and like always, guys, happy hunting.